From Metal Supermarkets, they'd like to thank you for making them your place to shop for metal and for quick, efficient precision cutting and metal bending. If your resolutions for 2026 include a new project, commercial or residential, they're here to help. And speaking of resolutions, I've taken up pickleball.
11-0. I win.
Great. Now I can nap.
It's best of 3.
Not in my kitchen, kid. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers need a number 3 center, preferably right-handed and willing to work for free. Got any ideas? Plus, the NFL playoffs have some new teams, and Canada at the World Juniors isn't going too well. But remember, they're young people. Getting mad at teenagers is a silly thing to do, although it is the national pastime of Canada at the New Year. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family-owned and community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. As you know, we are live on YouTube and Sports 1440, also on iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcast, and we tweet it out on X. Blue Sky, we're getting there. It's not there yet, but we'll get there. You can text or call us at 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, and at jfinwick04. Jason Gregor is our main guest today. He'll come up at 1:20 today. We have rumors. By the way, Rachel will join us probably Thursday this week. So we've got it all taken care of. Oilers lines to talk about, World Juniors, NFL firings. But first, we have the introductions. If he were a month of the year, it would be May. Promise of a bright future, everything in bloom, happy dogs taking happy walks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick.
That's a great month. It's a great month.
It is.
Big fan of May.
And I imagine you as a happy dog taking a happy walk.
Yep, most of the time. Most of the time.
If he were a month of the year, it would be January. Cold winds blow, football gets tough and ugly. Phrases like slobber knocker and I've frozen my toes are commonplace. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
It's not bad. I think I'd be March.
I don't think you would be. That's what you'd have to be a football month.
Fair point. It's a super fair point.
Yeah.
But my birthday's in March, and my favorite color is green, which is March-esque. I'm not here to nitpick. It was a good intro. I'm just saying. I always thought of myself as very March adjacent.
March, not very green.
I think you guys don't think of March as a green month because I've color coded all the months. I think March is green.
No,
dark forest green. Maybe that's a St. Patrick's Day connection. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Who cares?
I'm on a higher chair today. If I fall down, can any of you help me?
No, because you could just lower your chair.
No.
I'll help.
I don't touch any of the equipment because if it breaks, we get a memo. Remember the last time when this thing the microphone holds onto there was a memo. I didn't touch it. I'm not going down on the equipment.
You definitely touched it though, because Brandon, not that tall. You had to move the mic up today.
5'6". Oops.
Is Brandon? Is he short?
Yikes!
I didn't know that.
No, he's probably like 5'8".
Then he's taller than I am.
All I know
then
is
maybe
he's shorter than
5'7".
me.
Okay, well, but you got that into the conversation, and that was the key. All right, here we go. The lines today. This is via Jason Gregor. McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Kapanen. Henrique with Howard and Roslovic. Interesting. Lazar with Janmark and Savoy. And then they had Hudson in the middle with Frederick and Mangiapane. That's the Outliers healthy scratch line because it's the fifth one. I'm really smart that way. I can figure that out. Gregor also says expect Hudson to go down to Bakersfield. They play in Abbotsford tomorrow when they activate Kapanen, and says Jake Wallman also skating with the main group. So changes. We have Kapanen back in the lineup. He's going to go on the Draisaitl line. Howard gets the Henrique line with Roslovic. What do you say, boys? Is this an upgrade or is it same old, same old?
I think anything with Trent Frederick and Mangiapane off the ice, well, you could probably consider an upgrade.
That's a very fair point. They both are deserving of healthy scratches.
Yeah, like I'm looking at these lines, and I'm chuckling because I'm thinking to myself like a month ago. Imagine telling yourself, or a month ago is actually, sorry, that's not a good enough time frame. Imagine telling yourself 3-4 months ago that, hey, by the way, come January, Mangiapane and Frederick are not going to be in the lineup. Oh, and by the way, Jack Roslovic, who you haven't even signed yet. I mean, he's a third liner today, but I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but my point being is like you look at it and you're like, wow, that doesn't make a lot of sense based on what you thought, but based on what we know and what we've seen, I have no issues.
Yeah, and it's this is crumbly. They didn't want this. No, the players wanted to perform well. Obviously, the management who signed them wanted them to perform well. And as much, hell as Chris Knobloch gets, he's given these guys ice time. Maybe not the ice time they wanted, maybe not the roles they preferred, but the opportunity was there, and it has just not gone well. Now, Elliot Friedman is reporting several things involving Mangiapane, possibility of Anaheim, and then a Ryan Strome trade, which I find interesting, but I don't know how that would be doable in terms of salary cap. So we'll keep you updated on that. We know based on Gregor's reporting that Kapanen is going to be in the lineup tomorrow night, and it looks as though Quinn Hudson, who looked good the first time, and then he didn't play much the second time, will be headed back down to the American Hockey League. I vehemently disagree with it, not with the fourth line idea of all kids. The kid line only played like 6 minutes together. That's not enough. I mean, it just is not enough. So it was a nice experiment, but it appears as though there was never any thought of really giving this opportunity to young players. And that's really the theme of the season, because if they had kept Ike Howard up, for instance, and played him, he'd be a better NHL player today than he is now. And Savoy is a player who's, on the fourth line now. So it appears as though they just cannot put the two young players in a position to succeed. And I get it. I understand they're trying to win the Stanley Cup, but you're not going to win it with a third and fourth line that are both around 30% goal share. So repeating what you were doing, and I understand Kapanen is a new wrinkle, but it's one small update. The idea that Mangiapane and Frederick can be out of the lineup is great, but replacing them with players who are also depth talents is going to give you more depth talent. You need difference makers. We've talked about it before. Henrique's line doesn't give up a lot 5-on-5. I think it's like 2.8 goals per 60. That's not terrible, but they don't score. So get a scorer on the line. Get somebody who can put the puck in the net. And the guys that you do have that you could run are the kids. I would like to see that. And I think that that's the next step. And maybe we see it. They've got an easy schedule in January. This would be the opportunity to feature Howard and Savoy in the top 9. I don't know what we'll ever get there, but the opportunity is there at least. And the options are no longer multiple. They don't have many other options. They're going to have to play the kids, and I don't think there's much doubt about that. All right, so let's talk about all the people who are being fired in the National Football League. I haven't kept track of it yet, but I've been looking online, and I get my athletic updates, and it seems like every 20 minutes somebody's getting fired, and I'm waiting for Jerry Jones to wake up and start doing something. But so far, Declan, how does it look in terms of firing people on the first Monday after the regular season?
Yeah, so I've seen 3 firings. I'm not sure if there have been more. Pete Carroll out after 1 season, which is very, very Raiders-esque. Like, they love to turn over coaches really quickly. Like, not just to stick on this for a second, it seems like the Raiders almost had a guy in Rich Bisaccia, who was their interim head coach, came from being a special teams guy, and they sent him out for Josh McDaniels. That didn't work. They went with Antonio Pierce. That didn't work. They made him interim coach as well. Actually gave him another season because they didn't want him to make the mistake they made with Rich Bisaccia, fired him, and then, brought Pete Carroll in and fired him after 1 year. Like, it is just so Raiders. There is no stability there at the coaching position. I could not imagine being a coach. Like, I understand that NFL head coaching opportunities are tough to come by, but you can't tell me the Raiders being a head coach, even being a head coach, is a better opportunity than staying and being an offensive coordinator in a competent organization. Because there are situations you can go to where you take the head coaching job, no question, even if it's not a premier spot like Green Bay or the Cowboys or the Patriots, whatever. You go because it's a head coaching spot. I don't think you can do that with the Raiders. Cardinals firing Jonathan Gannon. It was time, 15-36 in 3 years. He had to be out of there. No issues with that as well. They also, they got a $60 million a year quarterback. They can't play. It's a mess there. And then Kevin Stefanski, really good coach, 2-time coach of the year. I think he actually overachieved in his time in Cleveland more often than he did not. But same thing. You're just not winning. Rubber's got to meet the road. All to be expected. The only reason Pete Carroll's to be expected is because that is what the Raiders do.
And Green Bay, did they fire? Oh, no, wait a minute. I guess they didn't. Oh. Pittsburgh, they fire a lot of people? Oh, no.
Pittsburgh should fire Mike Tomlin.
After last night?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They won't. They don't fire people. Obviously, like Chuck Noll to Cowher to him. They don't do it, but they should. And Steelers fans are really had been pushing for that as well. I don't know if that narrative will change with them being in the playoffs. Like, listen, they're going to lose to Houston.
So listen, that play, the last when you kneel and lose 2 yards, did that have any impact on the field goal attempt?
Well, the distance was funny because what they did was they centered the ball and he missed it right. But if he had hit it from the left hash, maybe he would have been good, right? Like, I have no problem with that play call whatsoever. The distance wasn't the issue. It was, like, analytically, if you want to call it that, the right play. Tyler Loop just missed the kick. And I got a whole nother take on that for both of you guys. I want kickers out of football, period.
Oh,
no
God.
more kickers.
You've already gotten rid of the Rouge.
No, the Rouge is still there. It's just different.
I don't different.
I don't mind the Rouge.
I'm old. We like the same.
But this is
Where's my Sanka?
This is my biggest break from tradition take. I want kickers out of football.
Is it because they drink?
No.
Oh.
It's the biggest reason.
They can't grow facial hair?
The biggest reason is, respectfully, like, these guys, and listen, what they do, you saw Cam Little hitting 67, 68 yarders. Like, no one can do that. And I'm not saying, like, it's a very skilled position, and it's what they do is very skillful, excuse me. And you can't just take a guy on the roster and say, go kick. They wouldn't make the kicks. But my argument is that aspect of the game is so streamlined. It's so selective. I'm not going to use the word rare, but it's so selective. And it's so different from the rest of the football game that I do not want my football games being determined by non-football players and non-football plays. So that's where I come out on that.
And you gave me hell for talking about Green Bay's quarterback situation last week, and now you come with this.
Well, I say this like a little tongue-in-cheek and a little sarcastic. Obviously, I know it's never going to happen. Obviously, I don't 100% feel that way, but I do feel that way a little bit. Like, Isaiah, it's non-football players.
You're just using words now.
It's non-football players determining football games, and it's ridiculous.
They're football players.
No, they're not. Like, they're very skilled. They're very skilled.
No, but they're part of the football game. They're in the rules, so they have to be football players.
By the letter of the law, yes, they're football players, and they're on the football team. And what they do, you got to be skilled, and you got to have leg, and you got to be accurate. I'm not saying it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy to do. They
gotta walk out there with that one rim on their helmet. Like, it's like clearly they're not going to be attacked. And then when things go bad, they all look like Garo Europremian on that play many years ago. This is not. You're being paid very well to be embarrassed publicly if you're a kicker.
Yeah, or be the hero.
All right,
even if they're sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, even if they're the hero, I still don't like that because it is such a non-football play that's so singular and so selective to a few plays a game determining a football game.
All right, we're going to move on, but that's a really good subject you brought to us, and maybe we'll return to it because I gotta hear more. I want to talk about the World Juniors and why, no matter how upset you are today, you have to let it go. Let it go is a good phrase to keep in mind in a lot of areas of life. Your children, with the people that you love who you marry, with your roommates, with your coworkers, anybody who may draw ire from you or have the bile, come up, and that happens. And here's why: because there's always a reason. So last night, Canada, who had been playing aggressively and had been doing things that were at the very least provocative, and at the very worst in poor sportsmanship, not shaking hands. And so when you do that, you can walk that walk, but you have to talk the talk. And they didn't. They lost. And they lost to the team that they disrespected. And so there's a lot of people who are going to get on the Canadian team. I want to go back to the game. They didn't play well. They didn't cover well. They didn't play well defensively. They weren't disciplined. That's all before they lost their temper. So when kids get frustrated because they felt like they should win something that they lost, then we have to go all the way back to the management and the coaching staff and how they chose the team and what kind of team they wanted and the way they acted. Because if you want Canada to be represented by a bunch of guys running around and not shaking hands, then I think that you sent the right coach. But if you want your team to play well, to be well coached, well selected, then maybe you should go in a different direction. That was not a great display. Those young people are going to have to live with that for a long time. It's not good. But I think it starts right at the top with the selection and then the style of play and not shaking hands. Look, you can do whatever you want in life, but you better be sure. You better be able to back it up with a victory, because today people are mad at them, honestly, in Canada, more for losing than anything else. Win, and you can do any damn thing you want. I think Canadians have proven that over many years. Any thoughts on the World Juniors?
Yeah, I just my thing is, because I obviously have to sit in for Connor today, and I'm going to do 5 questions, and I think one of my questions is going to be, and I don't really have a good answer for this.
Do you ever suggest Connor retire? Because I know I get it a lot.
No.
Okay.
But and respectfully, you're a little older than Connor.
Just a little.
Right? So it's, yeah. But one of my questions I think is going to be, what is, and it's tough to say, Canada has a Czechia problem, even though it's been 3 years. And obviously this year, the year before that, it hasn't worked out. But the year before that, it was a gold. So I don't want to say it's like a World Junior problem. But for lack of a better phrasing, what is Canada's World Hockey Junior Championship problem? And something that I had read was that it's become a rich kid sport. And these kids don't play with any heart and any grit. I don't know how much stock you guys put into that. I don't know how much you guys feel that way when you actually watch them play on the ice. But I did think it was an interesting kind of motif that was brought up.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Josh? Because you were you kind of silver spoon kind of kid, so you probably could relate.
I don't think I was that silver spoon.
Well, both your parents are doctors, so.
Well, guys, we only had 3 houses, okay?
And one of them was a fair drive.
Yeah. Our cabin is bigger than, your house. No, I think that's a good point, is that it is a rich kid sport. As the person in this room who was most recently in high school and new people of this.
By the way, for people who don't know, you were 8 years in high school. You really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I was really it was a cool kid on the block.
Well, and grade 10 was tough. So
yeah, 6 of the best years of my life. I do think that there's merit in the fact that it is a rich kid sport now, because blades aren't cheap, pads aren't cheap, sticks aren't cheap. Hell, the tape isn't cheap. You know what I mean? But I also saw on Spitting Chicklets, I think it was either Whitney or Paul that were saying it's become less watching them play. It's less of a team effort and it's more singular because everyone cares about how they look and all these things. Gavin McKenna did not look good in this World Juniors.
No, he might have cost himself. I don't know if he cost himself a draft spot, but there's going to be more questions asked.
There's got to be more questions asked. I mean, he tried to walk off the ice yesterday.
I saw it, and because I'm old, I said, "Young man, get back on the ice."
I'm again significantly younger than you, and I thought the exact same thing. I was like, dude, like that's not like lose with some grace, will you?
There's no reason to use the word significantly in that sentence unless you're just trying to be cruel.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so that I think we've got that covered. World Juniors, don't get mad at the kids. I think that the swagger that they had, we would have been playing as a media in Canada way differently if they'd won. I'm not going to trash them that they lost. They're teenagers. They lost their cool in some cases. That does happen. We've seen it before. Don't take your outrage on teenagers who are playing over Christmas for you. And that's what that is. So there's my little speech for the day. And we got two because we had a groundbreaking rule change for the National Football League by our friend Declan, which we will discuss. On the way, Jason Krueger will join us at 1:20 today. We're going to spend quite a bit of time on the NFL because there's lots of news. We'll likely do that at 1, but Rumors is next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrions weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Why pay dealership prices when you can get the same quality for less? Hi, it's Lisa, and here at Ed's Auto Salvage, we've been Alberta's trusted source for used auto parts for nearly 50 years. From engines to mirrors, transmissions to tires, we've got it all at prices guaranteed to keep your wallet happy. Shop local, shop smart. Shop Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Be sure to visit us online at edsautosalvage.com and get your vehicle back on the road for less.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440, 1224, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. A fun little period of time here. Brandon came in, and I think he rightfully called out both Josh and Declan for calling him short in the first segment. You know, how tall someone is, and he's not short, is not in their control. So I think we all learned something.
Yeah, I'm not claiming that's another thing I want. Like, I'm not necessarily shaming. I'm not that tall of a guy either. I'm only like 6'4", you know, like it could be a lot better for me.
This show sometimes turns into the Declan promotional show.
All I learned
like it's like ShamWow, you know.
All I've learned in this break is that you're a sniveling little rat who makes up lies.
You knew that before. Part? You knew that.
Oh, where he said, one time, well, Josh said on air that one time he walked into a room and he didn't see you, and then said, Brandon, stand up. And he said, I am. Brandon is not the size of a grain of rice.
It's time for Rumor is brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. I have to move on because I'm looking bad. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. Okay. We read them before, but we're going to pass them along again. This is via Jason Gregor. The lines, we assume, will be staying in place for tomorrow. McDavid with Nuge and Hyman, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and they get a new winger, Kapanen. And that means Roslovic can move down to the third line with Henrique and Ike Howard. So some signs of life for one of the recalls. Lazar with Janmark and Savoy on the fourth line. They won't play it much. They scrap that for parts mid-first period. So don't expect to see those guys very often. Hudson with Frederick and Mangiapane is the extra line. And Gregor reporting today that we can expect Hudson to go down to Bakersfield when they activate Kapanen, and Jake Wallman also skating with the main group. What Wallman's return and Jari's return mean as they get closer, that will signal the Mangiapane trade. Suspect it's to Anaheim based on reporting from Elliot Friedman and others. A small talk of a Ryan Strome acquisition, which would be interesting, right-handed center, but nothing too concrete there. So that's the latest in regard to that. The Toronto Maple Leafs have placed William Nylander on IR, recalling Marshall Rafai. This is interesting because the Leafs are not having a good year. They're at the midpoint of the season, and they have 45 points, meaning 90 points, and it won't make them a playoff team. They're in a little bit of trouble. They've been passed by Florida, who started very poorly. And the gap between Washington holding on to the last spot and Toronto is just 3 points. But there's also like 6 teams in front. It's going to be very difficult for Toronto. They're having a very hard year. The changes made in the offseasons are not working, and everybody's mad at Matthews, but the defenseman can't get him the puck. We'll see. You know, Toronto and Edmonton looked like they were not necessarily on a collision course, but they both had a chance to win a Stanley Cup. Now, Edmonton obviously achieving at a higher level because they've been to 2 final, but Toronto was not far away, and they were making some progress. Now, Marner's in Vegas. They have to overhaul the defense in the offseason. I suspect it means they're going to fire the coach, and who knows? It's really too bad, but getting rid of Marner didn't help. I'm not saying that was the single reason that they are there, but if you look at Tavares' contract, which was a really good one, and you look at the money that they had to spend, which they did not spend wisely, this is a very disappointing season in Toronto. Hey, why did the coach say that Roslovic is best used top 6 and not third line only a game or two ago? And then now he's putting him on the third line. Well, look, coaches and managers are they don't have to tell you the absolute truth. And there are also a million things that are involved in the makeup of a team. Like maybe Roslovic tweaked something and maybe he's not right. Or maybe they didn't like the way he looked on the line. They weren't effective the other night, right? So a hockey team is a living, breathing thing. I have all kinds of time to criticize Chris Knobloch for not using Ike Howard much in the first 41 games because now they still don't know what they have, right? But I'm not going to be critical of him moving Roslovic down a line because I think that's the right call. They have to get goals from the third and the fourth line. I mean, I know they're in good spots, but right now it is just unbelievable what's happening with this team. Here, let me show you. 97 and 29 together on a line are only at 50%. This is a combination that as recently as a year ago was delivering far greater totals than that. Far greater. Now, McDavid solo is 51%. Draisaitl solo 58%. Henrique solo is 32%. Nuge is 0-3 as a center in 97 minutes. And the rest are 31%. So, 44% is expansion level. 42, 44, somewhere in there. This is 32. This is the bottom dropped out. It dropped into the back of a truck, and the truck drove to Leduc and back. That's how bad it is. It really is, I think, for the Edmonton Oilers, it's kind of embarrassing that you cannot cobble together. You have the aces and the kings and the jacks, and you can't put sixes and sevens and nines together. This is basic stuff. And now they don't even have the guys that they signed last season, Mangiapane and Frederick. They're not on. But Henrique has gotten older. Nuge is necessary on the top line, apparently, and they won't play the kids. This is all on the coaching staff. Play the kids. They're the ones. Ike Howard on the third line. That's the way to go. But don't stop now. Keep going. We mentioned the NFL changes. There's so many things going on. The NFL they're not as interesting as the NBA, but the day after the regular season, stuff really does happen. There's been some firings. Daniel Jones is interested in coming back with the Colts, which is interesting. Would you put him there? I mean, he works well there. That I don't know how many NFL cities could he play very well in?
It's a really good question. I mean, I think he's found his home. And you saw how they were playing when he was there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, like, there are some guys whose talent can overcome situation. And it's actually, I think, rarer than people kind of give it credit for. And I don't think he's one of those cases. And that was evidenced, where he is now, I think is probably with that system, with that OC, with that head coach is probably the best it's going to be for him.
Giants are going to give Mike Kafka a head coach interview. Is the Giants opening the best one, the most attractive one for a coach?
I mean, like, New York obviously has some pretty crazy allure. I still think if you look at it just from a paper perspective, the Raiders have Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, and the first overall pick. That's a great spot to be, but then, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Look what they've been the last couple of years. The Giants obviously have Jackson Dart already there. They have Malik Neighbors. We'll see what he's like from the injury. It's interesting. I'd probably say the Giants. I don't think anyone is leaps and bounds better than the other, though.
Okay. That's sort of what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to get an idea of it. Travis Kelce will not make immediate decision on his future. Probably want to talk to his wife.
Fiance.
They're not married yet?
No.
Should he come back?
No.
Shouldn't they just start going with I know they've got a great quarterback, but shouldn't you just get rid of the old and bring in the new now?
What new?
Well, they have draft picks.
I mean, I guess so. They're in a tough cap situation, which
it's with Pat Mahomes, you're still there.
Yeah,
in theory,
but that requires. Now it's not on the field stuff anymore. This is the end of an era, the Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes era in Kansas City. This is now all on the front office of the Chiefs to go, all right, we got to retool and we got to do it quick. We got our best quarterback down with an ACL injury, might miss the first couple weeks of the season. Means we got to get a well-oiled machine that he can just jump into.
Do you there is I don't know what they're called, but there's a group of free agents that are released and then sign contracts, and they don't make big money, but they're really important to teams. They're kind of mid-level. Can they sign a bunch of those cats? Like, is it possible to negotiate the Rapids in one off season and address, like, say 4 or 5 situations by using your draft picks well, and then signing really astute contracts to up and coming rising players?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's ideally the way you want to do it.
Right. I just like I now that we know the Buffalo Bills will win the Super Bowl because all of the quarterbacks that Allen couldn't beat are out of it.
The Bills couldn't beat, not Allen. I'm not pounding this drum anymore. I'm sorry.
Well, he's not reacting, so it doesn't.
No, I'm kind of aligned with you on that, Lowetide.
Oh, I'm just big. I like Allen a lot. I
think he's incredible.
If he never wins a Super Bowl, I think he'll be should be regarded as a great quarterback.
Yeah.
One of the best of his era, for
If
sure.
he didn't win the Super Bowl, I think he'll probably be the second or third best quarterback to not win the Super Bowl, which is like,
would still be Marino 1.
I'd have Marino 1.
What are we going to do with the Ravens quarterback and his lore and story?
Well, you got to stay awake in meetings. You got to show up to practice. But also, you're a 2-time league MVP. Truthfully, probably should be 3. My quarterback won it over you, so I'm not going to beat that drum that hard, but probably should be 3. Like, you are in rarefied air in terms of talent. We're going to give you a lot of grace. Like, you got a lot of runway, but you got to show up. You got to practice, and you got to stay awake in team meetings. Like, the end. That's the bottom of the barrel. The bar is on the floor.
Well, it depends who's talking, though, or if you had a big meal,
Listen, if we didn't have kickers,
if I could sleep during this show, I would.
If we didn't have kickers in the NFL, maybe the Ravens are in the playoffs right now.
That's the most honest thing Josh has ever said, right there. Baseball Giants signed Tyler Mahle. He had a really good year, and he's going to a great ballpark. That's a really nice pickup. Has anybody noticed that there's still a lot of really high-end free agents out there? Tucker's still out there. Bichette's out there still. Bregman's out there.
Yeah, walk me through when MLB free agents generally get signed.
Well, it's now with January, with the things that will happen now is because you'll see more trades now because the free agents that were targets are now gone, like for pitching. So Freddie Peralta and those guys will be traded. And maybe Tarek Skubal, but I don't think he'll be traded. But right now, you kind of have to. The arbitration is just around the corner. So in January, those guys will be signed. Now there's a work interruption coming up here, so maybe it's going to be a different year. And in 1987, there was collusion by Major League Baseball owners where guys like Tim Raines didn't sign. And years later, millions and millions of dollars went from MLB to those individual players who a court estimated how much it cost them with the collusion. You can't do that. So I suspect that the league will sign these players. I think they'll be short-term deals, and they'll be in January. That's my guess anyway. Any NBA stuff to talk about?
Thunder lost again.
Thunder did lose again. And listen, I'm not going to point fingers at anybody, but they are, what are they, 4-5 since J-Dub came back? I'm not pointing fingers at J-Dub, but
he's kind of pointing fingers at J-Dub.
Hey, rightfully so.
Listen, yes, thank you. Take it from there.
There's something to be said there. When you are I think he was All-NBA third team last year, you're an All-NBA caliber player. You should be able to just figure it out and come onto a team that was 24-1 and find a role that you can play. Like there's a reason that you made all NBA last year was because you found a role on this team and you played it extraordinarily well to the point where on a loaded roster, you were the second best player undoubtedly. And now you come back from injury and it's just like, don't force your shots. You're playing on a team where you shouldn't have to force any shots, but he is. And then on the flip side of that,
but this
he's
is
walking around
short-term.
like his stuff don't stink.
Yeah, but this is short. First of all, the problem is short term. He'll recover from that. Secondly, if this is him acting arrogant, okay, he can line up, but there's about 400 doing the same thing.
You know, that Thunder team, like when they started the season 24-1, people were talking about like, are they going to beat, break OKC's record? And like, is this the best team ever? And I thought that was a little premature, even though they did pass the eye test. But like, if you really watch them, you realize they have like legitimate faults. Like they don't rebound the ball very well. One of my big things is like SGA, he really tries to shoot himself out of slumps when he doesn't have to with the players they have around them. Like they're a good team. If I'm putting money down, I still probably pick them to win the NBA title. But like even when they were 24-1, it was not some predetermined outcome, and it's less so now.
Are we not like picking nits here? Like they were 24-1, so they've gone like 6-5 or whatever, and I'm like, they're still 30-6. They're still 17-1 at home and 13-4 away.
Yeah.
Are you like? I just think we're staring at him too much. Like he's coming back and he's not playing as well as he will 2 weeks from now, and he's arrogant. Okay, well, the one thing you can't do anything about, that's the world we live in, and the second thing is he will, unless he's 40 or hurt, he will return. He'll regress to where he was. Right? That's how it works.
The only thing I'd push back on is I don't think SGA forces that many shots to get out of a slump.
Really?
When I watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I don't think he forces a single shot.
The other thing about SGA that I'd be interested to get your take on is when he doesn't, like when games are called a little tighter and he doesn't get the whistle he's used to, it gets to his head. And he like wears it.
That's a good show.
Interesting.
Shout out basketball.
But he always like every time I watch him, I feel like he just finds a way to get to his spots.
Yeah, like he's incredible. He's so good.
But regardless, and it doesn't look like he's stopping on a dime or is uncomfortable. It is like, hey man, you've failed. I'm right here. You picked up the worst assignment you could, and that's called guarding me.
Yeah, that must be a thrill, right?
Yeah.
All right, 12:41. We'll take a break. On the way, we're going to talk about Oilers management and coaching. And is there a disconnect? Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Across the province, Albertans are taking
Today, above expectations.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. Check it out. WolfGMCBuick.com. Okay. A few comments came in. The Oilers management, and this is from Cliff in Lloyd. Oilers management and coach seem to be on two different pages. Management gets the coach players. Coach refuses to play them properly. It's a problem. It's a problem because at the beginning of the year, I said, you got to play Savoy and Howard. Because if you play them in October and November, then guess what? You'll know what you have by February, March, April. And they will with Savoy. They have played Savoy enough. I think they know that he's a middle six winger. He has offensive talent, but it is not making itself known at 5-on-5. So you can't count on him to score 5-on-5. So he's a third liner in the playoffs. That's how I look at it. But Howard has shown enormous potential with his American Hockey League scoring and outscoring. But you still don't know. And I'm encouraged by the third line tonight, or tomorrow night. He's going to be on the third line. But it is so fleeting with these young players. They never really get a chance to get traction. And if you have them in your employ, there's two reasons why you should let them play. Number one, you might have something, and that's huge. If Howard can score on one of the top two lines and they find out by the deadline, that's a big deal. And secondly, if you're playing him and he's performing fairly well, but you decide that he's not a fit this year, you might be able to flip him for somebody who can help you, i.e. Alex Tuck. The world doesn't stand still. The Oilers last year made it to the final, but they should be trying to get better. Third and fourth lines, I don't see any effort being done based on what I've seen of trying to get better. They're just changing deck chairs on the Titanic every damn game. I'm absolutely flummoxed from the time Chris Knobloch said that McDavid and Draisaitl would play together at the start of the year after they had planned all summer to not do that. I said, we're on uncharted territory here. The general manager and the coach are not on the same page, and this never works. What happened to Todd McClellan? He got fired. What happened to Peter Chiarelli? Got fired. Maybe it would have been better if they'd been on the same page when Griffin Reinhart and Jesse Puljujarvi were acquired. Or maybe you talk to the coach and you don't acquire them because you want somebody more established. Eventually, this will be, if it doesn't, get fixed, it will be the end of the coach. You can't go, an entire year with 30% goal share from your third and fourth lines. Can't do it. Doesn't matter how good your top lines are. How many kids on Team Canada, this is from Jason, were not from an academy? I'm really curious. Do you know? Hockey lost grassroots, man, and it will never return. Elite rich kids who are really spoiled, who can't deal with any adversity at all. The nation, that's the national team now. Spoiled brats, no Tutu, no Theo Fleury, etc. Hockey is out of reach for most families now. Minor hockey is dead. No small community will replace the rinks. It's over, and that's reality. Well, some of that's true, Jason. The world that we grew up in, I lived next door to the rink. It was a curling rink and a hockey rink. I preferred the French fries, but both the curling and the hockey were good. But the world does change and has changed. And Josh said it a little while ago with all the, in our world, in Canada, if let's say you're talking to somebody, you go to pick up your kids at school and you're talking to a guy and you say, yeah, I got a game tonight. And he goes, yeah, I do too. And then you go, what level does your son play? He tells you, and then you say, what position? And he says goalie, and you say, I'm so sorry. And you might even hand him some money because that's how difficult it is. It is ridiculous. But having said that, that's the cost. And some of that is safety. So I'm not, I'm not recommending you go on the cheap on any of this stuff.
Another reality is there aren't a lot of, and I do agree mostly with, and to a large degree with what Jason's saying, but there aren't a lot of cheap sports out there these days.
Just soccer.
Yep. That would be one of them. Basketball, I think, is another one. But even basketball in the States, like you're getting a lot of money put into AAU and traveling basketball programs.
Yep. Yeah. And it's not like, there was a time like in baseball or in, hockey where if you were talented, you could get, you could get the ice time, you could be it on the team and that sort of thing. But I think, now in terms of development, they recognize these kids so early that you've got to be at a certain level quickly or you just get passed over. Soccer isn't cheap if you're good. Well, there you go. It's a tremendous commitment. I have people who I know, their kids aren't in minor hockey now, but they always felt guilty about one child being in hockey and the other not. And how do you make that equal? Right. And then some of them have admitted to me that when their child came to them and said, Dad, I don't want to play next year, they were relieved. Like they were doing it for their child because that is the Canadian way. You hold on to that dream. But it is expensive, and it's not going to get less expensive. And I haven't looked lately, but I don't think the Canadian representation in the NHL, it certainly isn't what it was when I was a kid. There was one American, Tommy Williams, in the NHL when I was a kid. One.
So you're saying that's who's responsible for the Tkachuk brothers?
They're hell of a players, though. I mean, I wish they weren't as good as they were because they're really good players. If they were as good as your fighter guy on the Rangers,
Not Rempe.
yeah, then it would be easier for me.
I actually think, I do think the Tkachuks are very good, but I think it's got to the point where they're almost a touch overrated.
What's happening with the Tkachuks is what happened to Dave Tiger Williams and the pugilists of that era. They became very famous, but they weren't as good as at hockey as they needed to be to play the roles they were in. And I think not in their prime, but I think the Tkachuks are they're famous now, but they're not always going to be good and famous. And they do have flaws. Soccer equipment can be cheap, but club dues can be very expensive, thousands of dollars a year. Football, minor and high school are pretty cheap. Sports to play, virtually no equipment to buy. This is from Mike. Associations supply the helmets and shoulder pads. What say you there, sir?
I mean, I think you can play any sport cheaply to a large degree. I wouldn't say football's a cheap sport at all. Like equipment's expensive. Yes, you can be on some club teams that are going to provide equipment, but it's only going to, if you want the real good equipment, I don't know, you got to ship it out for it. Like fees are expensive. I wouldn't say football's a cheap sport at all.
Well, I don't think it, from the outside, it doesn't appear to be, but.
No, I wouldn't consider it a cheap sport. It's not as expensive as hockey, but.
Well, my kids loved swimming. That's pretty inexpensive.
Swimming was super expensive, man. I bet people would be shocked at how much my parents paid in pool fees and for travel meets, and you have to pay meet fees and. Yeah, again, it's probably not hockey.
So boxing is inexpensive.
I mean, boxing's a poor kid's sport, but
no, it is.
They don't make it easy on those poor kids.
John Short used to tell me he was spent much of his early years being raised by his grandparents in Detroit. And he used to go, he had the time, skip school, whatever. He would go down and he'd watch the boxing. He'd watch the training. And he got into that sport. And he told me that. He said, it's just like, he said, all the poor kids are there,
Yeah, rich kids don't box.
No. But you boxed.
Mm-hmm. Great. I loved it.
I love boxing. I love watching boxing. I don't watch it so much, but
I'm trying to find like a list of youth sports in Canada and how much they cost.
that would be a good thing to follow up on.
So far, the two most expensive I've seen, which I think this isn't breaking news to anybody, hockey and dance/cheerleading.
Dance is expensive, for sure. Melissa says, I also think lack of physical play until U15 is a mistake in minor hockey. We need more grit. Yeah, the reason I don't like it is because you're not playing hockey, and then all of a sudden the light turns on. So you're basically you're stranding a bunch of kids who need to learn how to take a hit and learn how to play in a physical game, and then you're unleashing everything when they're 15 and they're still not ready. So building up, I think, to that would be the better plan, just my opinion. Triple C in a truck, and then will you take a break? I promise. My daughter's in dance, and I put her there because I thought it'd be cheap, LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, it's 12:55. On the way, we're going to talk about the National Football League, about the playoffs. We've talked about the firings, and we may get into that again. But these playoffs are fascinating to me. It's also fascinating to watch the Eagles get a tougher opponent than a lot of other teams. Not happy about that, but we'll talk about it next hour. Jason Gregor will join us at 1:20 to talk about the Oilers and the return of Kasperi Kapanen and a feature role for Kapanen. It's all straight ahead. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 on YouTube. Time for an update with Declan Krueger.
The Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors, Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 11577 149th Street, now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2, or visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring that next flooring project to life. World Junior Hockey Championship action. Canada taking on Finland for the bronze medal at 2:30, and Czechia meets Sweden for the gold at 6:30. In the NHL today, we do have 5 games on the schedule. It gets going with 2 games at 5, Utah and New York, the Rangers, that is, followed by Anaheim and Washington at the same time. The late game tonight in the NHL will see the Minnesota Wild in LA to take on the Kings. In the NBA, action tips off with 1 game at 5 o'clock. New York and Detroit, the Knicks, currently 1.5-point favorites for that one. Raptors will play host to the Atlanta Hawks at 5:30, 2.5-point favorites for that one. And the late games in the NBA will see the Golden State Warriors in LA to take on the Clippers and the Utah Jazz in Portland to take on the Trailblazers. News from around the sporting world as Jonathan Gannon has been fired by the Cardinals after going 15-36 in 3 seasons. Pete Carroll's been fired by the Raiders after 1 season. The Browns have fired 2-time Coach of the Year Kevin Stefanski. In the CFL, Riders defensive lineman Micah Johnson has retired and will stay with the club as a defensive line coach. And Don Mattingly has joined the Philadelphia Phillies as the team's new bench coach. He parted ways with the Blue Jays after 3 seasons in the same role in November. I'm Declan Krueger. This is the Sports 1440 Update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Greger brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Now, I wanted to spend this segment today talking about the NFL playoffs. I want a rational, well-rounded, both sides discussion about each. We don't have to give predictions, but each of the playoff games that are coming up. And I think we can do that. I think the personnel that we have with Josh and Declan and myself, we can very quickly look at each of these games. And are we ready? Do you think we're up to it? Okay. Crickets. All right. I want to start Packers-Bears because I'm fascinated by this. I feel like the Packers are a team ready for this. I feel like the Bears have just jumped onto the stage, and yet I don't know what the line is, but are you feeling the Bears more than the Packers in this game? Either of you?
I am.
Me too.
I'm happy to say it. Because I didn't think I would have this take at any point in the season up until maybe the last, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
4 weeks? 3 weeks? But no, the Packers, I mean, obviously no Micah. He's such a game changer. Like you completely base your offensive game plan about him being in the game. With him not there, that's huge. And quite frankly, I just think the Packers have limped in and aren't good enough. And I think the Bears are for real. Listen, anytime these two teams play, it's going to be tough and it's going to be hard fought. But I do think there's a clear better team here, and I think it's the Bears.
Josh, do you feel like I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you feel like the Bears are more fun because they're doing it in a way they never do it? Like, is that one of the reasons why we're all super hyped on this Bears success?
Yeah, absolutely. The Bears are what's up. Also, the only counter argument I think for the Bears is that Jordan Love has extended the ownership of the Green Bay Packers of the Chicago Bears in Soldier Field. They don't really lose in Soldier Field.
That's fair.
I think there's an opportunity for Caleb Williams, though, to say ownership revoked.
When one of these days, I'd like to get into a conversation about the quarterback situation in Green Bay. We don't have time right now.
Unique and interesting take.
Rams, Panthers. Do we spend any time on this?
I want the Panthers to win so badly.
They already beat them once.
They beat the Rams already. I was going to say, yeah, they did beat the Rams already.
To be fair, it was Matthew Stafford's worst game of the season by far. He had 3 interceptions, one of which was a pick 6.
What's the line on it? Like
9.5.
Okay. All right. Bills, Jaguars.
The Bills.
Wait. Are either of you taking the Panthers?
I don't think I'm taking the Panthers, but
I'll take them at plus 9.5.
I mean, I'd take them to cover for sure.
That's an easy one.
A lot of points for a playoff game, but yeah.
At home, too.
No. All right. Bills, Jaguars.
Bills don't win on the road in the playoffs, or Josh Allen doesn't.
I'm scared. I can't lie. I thought the Jags were kind of a fraudulent 8-win team when they hit that 8-win threshold. Ever since then, all they've done is continue to look better and continue to impress. I I'm scared about going on the road. I'm scared about Buffalo's complete inability to stop the run. Not that Jacksonville is some run-heavy offense. I don't really trust anyone outside of Josh Allen at any position on the team, save for Christian Benford. I like Christian Benford.
You don't trust James Cook, the rushing leader?
I trust James Cook, but like this is okay. Let me phrase it this way: like if Josh Allen goes down, the game's over. But my point being is like if Josh Allen has to leave the game, I'm not just like, okay, we still got James Cook. He can put the team on his back.
No, that's fair.
Allen is just such a difference maker with his arm and with his legs. And he anticipates pressure really well. But are we seriously questioning them beating the Jaguars? Because that's the first game.
Hey, you know what?
Jags are
the last time Trevor Lawrence was in the playoffs, he was down 32-0 and won the game.
The Chargers, all teams. I am not picking against the Bills, but I'm scared.
Okay.
I still think the Bills will win, but like I think it's sort of the same thing I just said about the Panthers. If the Jags win, I will not be surprised.
I think this is a pick 'em, even though it's my team involved. 49ers, Eagles. Who do you like?
I like the 49ers.
I love the 49ers. What's the line, Josh? Do you have it in front of you?
No.
Whatever the line is, the nuclear whale missile play of the day may be on the 49ers. I love the 49ers in this game.
So you picked
on
them
the road, by the way.
You picked them to win this easily?
Let me hear the line. I need the line.
Eagles +3.
Oh, I love Eagles are +3?
Point spread. It says 49ers by 3. That says 49ers -3 at home.
So the Eagles
which means
are
it is a
+3.
pick 'em.
Okay.
Because you get 3 points for being at home.
I think it's a pick 'em.
I like the Eagles +3 actually. In that case, I figured the Eagles would be favored.
But so if is it a pick 'em, or do you really think San Francisco wins this one? Like,
I think
you
San
convinced?
Francisco wins.
I think San Francisco wins.
You're more.
I think they're
convinced?
better. I think they're a better team, and I think they're.
Oh wait, hold on. Brock Purdy's questionable. How did I miss this?
Oh, I like that.
Suffered a stinger after taking a hard hit to his left shoulder on the final offensive
Question:
play.
Are you more confident San Francisco beats Philadelphia than you are the Jaguars beat Bills?
I'm more confident in the 49ers.
I'm more confident in the Bills for
Okay.
sure.
All right. Okay. Chargers Patriots. This is I don't know that the Chargers have ever been favored against the Patriots. Since Dan Fouts left town, but
You know what this is? This is low key. You better get it done spot for Justin Herbert.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I like the Chargers in this one. I know Connor's not here, and I'm not trying to kiss his butt. Eddie this morning on KK's show was saying, "No, hey, wins are wins. You know, it doesn't matter like who it's you faced up against." I think it does. Like, I get it. Drake May threw for almost 4,400 yards this year, and is going to finish second in MVP voting. But I'm not there with the Patriots. There's a stink. I don't like it. So give me the Chargers.
There's a stink. Okay. All right. Texans Steelers.
Give me the Texans by 1,000,000.
I'm not going to say 1,000,000 because the Steelers are resilient, and they're playing at home, and that's a really tough place to play. Really tough place to play. I'm still going to take the Texans though in a low scoring kind of defensive. I'm not going to say defensive battle.
Mike Tomlin undefeated at home on Monday Night Football in his career.
That's a stat.
The Steelers are interesting to me because they're like, in a lot of ways, they're really boring. Like, even when they had Roethlisberger, I thought they were boring.
They just, I know what you mean, but like, I'm not excited to ever really. I'm not sad, but I'm not excited to turn on a Steelers game. I'm like, oh, the Steelers are playing.
Yeah, and like it irritates me that they won.
Did they win, or did the Ravens lose?
They got the W.
Ravens lost.
They got the W. And so now, like, Declan said it earlier, like, I would like that they're in a way, they're like a more successful Bears in that I would just like them to be more interesting. The Bears are finally interesting.
Yeah, no, I get it because like when you turn on a Steelers game or when you look at a Steelers game, it always feels like the final score is going to be like what it was yesterday.
16-13.
Yeah. Or 23-20 or it's
9-7.
Yeah, it's not going to get up into that well, they won 41-40 range like game 1 of the NFL season this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just going to be a ho-hum like, oh yeah. That like the MLB is in America's pastime. It's putting on a Steelers game. Just put it on in the background.
I want to talk to, and I rarely, enforce it, but I really want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Because like, I just think that when an owner becomes the manager, this is what happens. You would just end up with like just mountains of weirdness where the owner is negotiating with some players, thought he had a deal, then he has to trade the guy. Then they make some, trades to try to get better in season when they didn't actually have this team to start. And then it all blows apart. If this year is not an advertisement for don't let Jerry manage, when will we ever get one?
I don't know. I feel like we've been getting those advertisements for a long time. He's a good owner. Okay.
He cares a lot, and that's a good,
he's a good owner. He is not a good general manager.
Well, you go tell him. Somebody has to tell him.
Sure. I'll tweet him right now at Dallas Cowboys. Fire your general manager.
It's also hilarious. Like people have asked me like, hey man, would you ever, maybe hire a general manager? Like really get this thing going. And he's like, I love the pain. Like Jerry, like what? How about we build a football team? We don't need you to love the pain, man.
Doesn't matter.
You have $8 billion and you own the Dallas Cowboys, by the way. Can we just build a football team? Like go pay someone to be a GM. Thanks for loving the pain though.
The NFC East, like the Eagles are not like, I know they won by 4 games, 3.5, I guess, but they're not that good. They needed to have some competition, and the Cowboys had to be the competition this year.
And I mean, technically, I guess they were. It was really close. They were week 1 matchup, right?
Yeah. The Washington losing their quarterback was that hurt them. Like I think they're a better team, don't you?
I mean, I'd like to think so, but their defense wasn't very good, and neither was their O-line. They didn't really have a rush game, and Terry McLaurin was in and out of the lineup every day. Like, Deebo Samuel was your wide receiver 1, and this is a guy who was playing on a hurt 49ers team and couldn't be the wide receiver 1, but I still like Deebo. That being said, they had some great games with Marcus Mariota behind center. But that sophomore slump always just kind of comes in.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have been as good this year. But, oh well.
Ken says, LT, we have a young family member that plays in the BC League, hockey this is, that's been traded 3 times this year. He's a great kid, only 6 feet and a goalie. I feel for the kid, and he's not from an academy either. I feel bad for goaltenders who aren't big, and that's why I cheer for Dustin Wolf, because the Oilers have a kid named Connor Unger right now, and Unger is like 6 feet, and he is shooting lights out in the AHL. I doubt he ever gets a look, because 6'3" goalies get looks, but 6-foot goalies rarely do. Unger is playing really well, and his resume is strong. But I just don't see it. And the bias against, 6 feet is not small. Hell, in this room, it would be towering.
Correct.
But for NHL goaltenders, they want the big guys. 3 times in a year. These are just kids. This is nuts. I'm reading. I'm sorry. So there's going to be pauses. I have a son in AAA hockey and a daughter in competitive dance. Both are expensive. Main difference, you can expect 100% effort at dance every performance. The coaches demand it every time from every dancer. Not the case in hockey these days. Well, there you go from Terps in Valley View. Nice area, Valley View. You been there?
No.
I'm always a little nervous when you guys start talking about towns on the prairies, because North Battleford
sucks.
Took such a shellacking that anybody from there is going to have a, They're going to be disgruntled about our show.
No one likes North Battleford more than me. But I approach the town objectively for what it is. I still want to buy my grandma and grandpa's old house there. I do. I love it there. But we got to be real about what the town is as a whole.
I would buy, if I could afford to, I'd buy a cottage at Turtle Lake up by Turtleford.
Sitting there talking about, can I afford it? Okay.
Oh, no. It's really expensive there.
Back to the NFL for a second.
I was going to go equestrian, but okay.
The Bengals refuse to fire Zach Taylor. Obviously, I put a tweet out today of me putting on clown makeup saying they're going to fire Zach Taylor. They've got to fire Zach Taylor. Of course they're going to fire Zach Taylor right after the news came out that the Bengals are, in fact, not firing Zach Taylor or their general manager. Thank you, Mike Brown, for being the most incompetent owner in professional sports. Not cheapest.
Here's the
not
thing.
anything. Most incompetent.
The Bengals are run like a 1975 furniture store. And the big question is, what color is the new moving van going to be? And so they're not in the game like other teams. And yet, even with that, they are more competitive than you'd think they were. They're old school's old school. They don't exactly buy helmets from the Cowboys and use them, but they're kind of like that.
Yeah. I don't care. Like, Zach Taylor is bad at his job. I think his whole staff should be fired.
So you say.
Along with the GM, who is just like, let's get Joe Burrow another weapon. No, get that man some protection and then give him 3 just okay defenders. I want a D lineman, I want a linebacker, and I want I don't care if it's a strong safety or a DB or anything. Like, just give me one person on each level that I can go, man, they might get out there and do something, and give me some average players.
Well, that's a bit too much to ask.
God forbid. And Zach Taylor is a Joe Burrow merchant. Without him, former Triple Crown receiver Jamar Chase had a terrible season. He went like 4 or 5 weeks without catching a touchdown, for God's sakes. What is it like? What are we doing in Cincinnati?
Maybe it's the lights.
The lights? I don't care. Zach Taylor needs to be fired, but he won't be. So I got another season of this. Anyways.
Well, is your quarterback staying, though? That's the key.
At this point, if he was like, hey, Mike Brown, can you fire Zach Taylor for me? Things aren't working well. I'd like some protection too. So like maybe we could have a meeting about that. He probably told Joe Burrow to get bent. And is like, you sell tickets. That's what you are to me.
Well, he can always do what
Andrew Luck did and retire.
Well, I feel badly. Like when the Lions lost their running back, it was because the management was so terrible. Barry Sanders said, I'm not going to die for this. 8-8 is not good enough. All right. Equestrian, my extremely rich financial advisor was very relieved when his youngest daughter did not want to participate. From Mark. Yeah, I would imagine that's probably a lot. Okay, Jason Gregor on the way. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Ugh, seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com and call today to get started.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit WolfGMCBuick.com. We are joined now by Jason Krueger. Jason Krueger show coming up at 2 o'clock. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was pretty good. Little white knuckling to Lloydminster on Friday, but it was fine on the way home, so that's good.
I haven't been to Lloyd in years.
I hadn't been there in a long time either. So they have a new rink out there. It's pretty
nice.
It's pretty nice. So yeah, it's fun. It's a little chilly, but not too crazy.
Are they still the Bobcats?
Yes. Okay. But their minor hockey has a different last name, and it's escaping me right now.
Well, when I was a kid, they were the Border Kings.
Yes. Well, that was their senior team too. I remember for the longest time.
Yeah, they were on the radio. Them in the North Battleford North Stars.
Oh yeah.
I thought the Oilers were pretty flat against the Flyers. And
they're junk. Let's call them spade and spade here. They
were good.
Like their 2 games, their last 2 games have just not. They weren't. Now against, I shouldn't say they're that bad against Boston. They couldn't score against Boston, but defensively they have leaked some goals here against for sure. And, if you look at the whole season, that's the number one issue. Like, I know, they got to play the kids more. I'm like, what are you talking about? They need to limit the goals against. They're 29th in the NHL in goals against. Full stop. And it's everybody. Don't get mad and want to yell, well, it's the third line's not scoring. I get third line's not scoring. But if you look at the goals against per 60, like Trent Frederic's at 2.43, right? Like, it's not awful. It's actually better than most of the other forwards on the team, right? Like everybody's up except Ty Emerson and Vasily Podkolzin. So because last year I picked all the players who played 900 minutes 5-on-5. and looked at their goals against per 60. So then here we are halfway through the year. So I went at 450. And all the guys, there's like 13-year players, like the fourth line guys don't really play that much. And every player on the Oilers goals against per 60, actual goals against, is up except Pot Colson. He's exactly the same. And Ty Emberson is down a full goal. He was at 2.87. He's at 1.83 this year. He's been the one guy. And I think anybody who watches will say, yeah, now Emberson doesn't play the big minutes. I understand it. But
this is 5-on-5. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he didn't play big minutes last year. It's not like last year Ty Emberson was in the top 4. He was in the bottom pair last year. He's in the bottom pair this year. And he hasn't been on for nearly as many goals against. So that's a good thing. But it's pretty much only him, right? Like Connor Brown, Janmark Henrique were better than Janmark hasn't played enough this year to begin. He didn't have enough minutes, but Mangiapane's been awful in his goals against when he's on the ice. And I know it's not always just the individual player, but as a group, they got a lot of guys that are Ekholm's numbers are way higher, McDavid's numbers higher, Bouchard's numbers, well, they're all higher except those guys. So it's a team effort here that they've got to.
How much of that is goaltending?
A little bit, Al, but I looked at that December.
Expected goals were on par, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. The Oilers expected goals. Like if you look at now you want to go to Money Puck or pick any, there's four different ones you want to look at. No. The Oilers are 28th, Al, in 5-on-5 expected goals against.
Yeah.
Right. So they're basically.
That's a team-wide issue.
Yes. It's a team-wide. Can goaltending be better? Yes. Can defense be better? Yes. Can forwards be better? Yeah. It's all collectively. Like the Oilers, I find when they need more energy in how they defend. Right. And I thought they had it like going into the Christmas break. You're like, hey, look at the Oilers. Like they had some really good defensive outings. You're thinking, okay, they're coming. And then they just spit the bit coming out here in the last 2 games.
Well, one thing that drives me nuts, and I've said it like a few times, but 2 times now in the last few years, the Oilers have gotten a defenseman from Nashville, Ekholm and now Stastny, and they look so damn good. And I'm like, out of the box, they come in and they play so well. And I'm like, are the Oilers coaching staff asking too much of these players in terms of what their setup is and how they defend? Because when they get here from Nashville, they seem to be far more aware, head on a swivel, great in coverage, and so that to me says maybe there's a different style in Nashville that might work here.
Maybe, but they also traded away those guys. So what was if they were so great, why would you trade Stastny if you thought he's that good just for a pick, right? Like, and that happens, right? Like that's a really good trade for Edmonton.
Yeah.
And I look at the Oilers and you know what they've made some big gaffes this year for sure defensively. Lots of different players, some guys we know, but I find their team has checked rather passive. When they check passively defensively, they get murdered.
Yeah.
I don't care. You give a team time and space, NHL players, I don't care what line they're on. You give them time and space, they're going to make you pay.
Yeah, that's fair. You've talked at length this year and talked to Kasperi Kapanen about consistency and about you know playing his game consistently well, and we saw that in the playoffs. And now he's back after a kind of a false start, and he practiced today. I saw your lines, and he's getting a nice push, on a very good line. What are your thoughts about this player and how much he can help the Oilers? Because they do need help in the wing.
Well, they do. I think ultimately he's a third line player. Mm-hmm. And I think they're putting him with Draisaitl just because that line's kind of in a little bit of a funk right now. So guy comes back in. He hasn't played since late October. He's only played 6 games this year. He was chomping at the bit to play last time when he had that unfortunate caught a rut in practice and twisted his knee up again. So he will come back in. He'll add a lot of juice the first few games. You know how it is, Al. So his juice, plus it's Draisaitl playing against Nashville. Like if there's ever a team that Draisaitl is going to wake up against, it would probably be the Nashville Predators, right? Plus his parents are coming in town. Don't ever underestimate that. That's why they have his 1,000-point ceremony on Saturday. This was the time they waited until his family could come. It's very important to him. It's a big deal. So they will have that on Saturday night. So you know what? I know, and people, Draisaitl. Like when I have lists of concerns, Draisaitl's at the bottom. Does he have to play better than he has lately? Yes. Will he? Yes, because he's done it time and time again. But going back to Kapanen, I think they just maybe add a little boost there. I think maybe Rosovic, you need some more speed if you're going to play Henrique as your third line center for the time being. you need at least one really speedy winger. Now that could easily be Kapanen, and him and Rosovic could switch maybe during the game, maybe in the next game or two. We'll see. But I think Kapanen's actually going to add a lot. I actually like the 6 games he played.
Yeah, no,
this
he's
year.
played well. There's no doubt. If you look at the 6 games, they still shine, like in terms of points per game and outscoring. And it was just 6 games, small sample.
But he basically he picked up where he left off in the playoffs.
Yeah. Wallman practicing. We know that when everybody comes back, they're going to have to make a move. Looks like it's Mangiapane, and maybe based on rumors, Anaheim.
Yeah, I think there's a few teams in the mix there. So Wallman, you look for like next, maybe Monday, right? Like next week, probably Tuesday, because if you look at it, they play back to back. And so Knobloch had mentioned, I talked to Jake today. He feels really good. He's like, oh my God, I'm going stir crazy. Not playing is what he said. And he's got to get doctor's clearance. He's not playing tonight. He's not going to play on Thursday in Winnipeg. He's not going to play against the Kings on Saturday. But after that, it's like basically one more week. And now if you look at when other guys have come back from injury, and funny enough, it's happened multiple times this year where the Oilers have been in a mix of a back-to-back set and they play the second game. So if that trend continues, I could see him playing in Nashville next week. And so that basically gives them 8 days, Al, to figure it out. Mangiapane's name's even there. I've heard some whispers of Vancouver. There's a few different teams. Like the one player's name who's out there right now is Jake DeBrusk.
Right.
And now he has a no move clause for 2 more years.
Right.
Would he waive to come to Edmonton?
Well, his dad could talk to him.
Yeah, he's true. Would he waive to come to Edmonton? I can't say for certain because I haven't talked to Jake about it, but I talked to some other people and they're like, yeah, they think probably, good chance. It's not like if you look, I was looking at his usage the last few games in Vancouver and they basically kind of got him on a check-in line.
Yeah.
That's not what he signed up for.
No,
that's not who he is as a player.
He's not going to be good at that.
But what does Edmonton have to offer? Now, here's the thing. Vancouver and Edmonton, they traded Podkolzin in Edmonton. The Oilers traded Kane to Vancouver. So the 2 management teams aren't afraid to deal with one another, right? And so it's there. Maybe it doesn't now. Like, you're not getting Mangiapane for DeBrusk here. So let's,
it's got to be extra.
There'd have to be a lot more because just look at the money, right? The Oilers would still have to add in another $2 million. So I think that's a really harder trade to make, to be honest.
Would they trade Howard?
Well, no young player is who has a very limited NHL resume when you're in your NHL window to win,
right,
is untouchable.
That's fair.
So now, do I think they're just going to give him away for a 1-year rental player? I'd be shocked if that happened. But if you're getting a guy who has 2 or 3 years left on a deal, then I think it's. I'm not saying they've had any. I have never heard any talks about it, but I'm not naive enough to think like that he could be moved. For sure, he could be.
Totally unrelated, but I'm just looking at Evander Kane's recent, performances, and I mean, he was here, I think, for 4 Stanley Cup playoffs, and he had some major impact in some of those playoff series. Any chance?
Well, there's always a chance,
right? Because I think they need a little bit of that.
Yeah,
rugged play.
I don't know. I don't know if Evander Kane got. Well, I'm pretty sure he didn't get traded just because of his salary cap.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the personality is necessarily. That doesn't mean he can't get along with some guys, right?
Sure.
It's not means he's a bad guy, but there's just some things at times where it's like, you know what? I'm not a huge believer in running back the clock, Al, for a second time. It's very rare in any sport where a guy comes back his second tour of duty and you're like, oh, it's just as good as the first one.
Did you, switching gears here, did you watch a lot of the World Juniors and did you watch last night's game and what is your opinion?
Well, I watched last night and a lot of the guys who cover junior hockey close to I had say, hey, Czechia's got a good team.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was a really good game last night. Like, hey, now I saw something I'd never seen before. I'd never seen a reshot and a penalty shot.
Which was weird.
Ever. I'd never seen it before. So I know people they show the replay and they're like, well, yeah, he tripped him after the puck. I'm like, yeah, the ref doesn't watch it in slow motion, you jabronis. In real time, you watch it at full speed and you're like, man, did he get tripped and lose the puck at the same time? I get it. He was clearly tripped, right? So, and guess what? Good save by the goalie. It was an interesting cat and mouse game that, Haig tried to do the exact same move and, didn't work either time. It's a hard move. But, Canada, the third period was unreal.
Yeah.
It sucked for Canada.
Well, they scored and they get scored on right away.
Yeah. But it was, and that's that level. Like, I know people are like, oh my God, they're problems now at juniors. I'm like, no, stop. Right? Like if there's problems at junior, which Czechia guys are Celebrini and Schaefer? Because they're in the NHL. They're available and they aren't there. Like you don't confuse this to, hey, Czechia's getting better. It's a more competitive tournament. Like when was the last time? Well, Czechia, has they ever won the World Juniors?
Oh, if it was the 80s. Honest to God, I'd have to go.
And I don't even think they have.
They
and
may
Sweden
not.
hasn't won in forever. So I think it's great that you have a gold medal game tonight amongst two countries that haven't won. Like it's going to mean a lot for both these countries, big time. Like the group of players, man, you kidding me? It'll be huge.
Yeah. I thought Canada lost their cool a little bit, but we have to remember they're teenagers and they're playing over the New Year's for us.
Yeah.
So like
I'm not in a one game elimination, anything can happen.
No.
The best team doesn't always win on that game. And hey, Canada, it's been a few years now since they won gold. And so you could be proud as a Canadian and say, hey, I want us to win 100%. I don't personally attack players at the World Junior Tournament. I never have.
No.
I don't, it's so much can go on in that short period of time. And in a one game, like there's more competitive team now. Look, USA's hosting. They didn't get in.
Yeah.
Right. Canada didn't get in. Right. So, good for Finland. They're in the bronze. Like now, hey, the Finns, they always show up in these bronze medal games, man. Like this will be a tough game today. Yeah. It starts in like an hour's time. So I look at Czechia and it's like, to me, that's good. You want the more competitive the tournaments are at any level, the better it is for hockey.
Final area. In a world where nobody missed a kick in the NFL all year long, the last game of the year comes down to a kick, and the kicker doesn't make the kick.
And he hadn't missed I don't think he'd missed inside of 50 all year long.
Yeah.
But it's also that big miss came because the Steelers missed the convert from a guy who hardly ever misses either.
Yeah.
So it's just, I know people are like, well, kicking's easy. I'm like, oh yeah, can you do it?
Yeah.
And can you do it under pressure?
Right. And that much yardage.
It's different than kicking a field goal in game 4 with nothing on the line. Your whole season's on the line. And you know what? He clearly, to me, he got a little too excited because he pushed it.
Yeah.
Right. And, it sucks for Ravens fans for sure. And, the Steelers are in, and you know what? It'll, the playoff, man, there's some good matchups.
Oh, man, there is.
There's some really
Bears,
good,
Packers. Oh,
what about the Jaguars, man? Like the Jaguars look really good.
Yeah.
But they could easily be out in the first round. So
the winner of that is going to be like, because for me, like, I mean, I go in thinking San Francisco is going to win over the Eagles. That's how I feel. San Francisco's a real good team. But the Jaguars,
they've been good, but also, like, I know they scored a lot of points, but you can't overlook who they played.
Yeah,
in a lot of their
true.
games.
That's true.
Right? You can't overlook it, but they're really good like that. It's funny. I haven't noticed the Eastern media whining about the matchups in the AFC and the NFC because some teams with better records are higher. But my God, the NHL beat writers will be just in tears when the playoffs come. Oh my God, look at the Central Division. They got the 3 best records. Yeah, welcome to pro sports, people.
Yeah.
It happens sometimes.
But you agree it should be 1 through 8 in each conference.
Well, not really. When you have such their interdivision games mean more.
Right.
Right? You have 6 out of 17. Right now in the NHL, it's very different. If you wanted to make a 1 versus 8 argument in the NHL, sure. But the argument is good teams play each other. Well, have you guys actually taken 2 seconds to realize that 3 and 6 and 4 and 5 are the exact same matchups than 2 and 3 would be in each conference? It's no really difference 90% of the time. Like this year in the NHL, yes, because the top 3 teams look like it anyway will be in the Central. But I don't get too worried about it. Guess what?
But
you got to beat good teams.
I'd like the better series to be later. The great series in the NHL are the first ones often.
Yeah, but that's sometimes that's not. It's because it's an upset.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not always like they're great because it's not always that the number 2, number 3 seedings are
you're
great.
Right. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a 1 versus 4, the wild card team. You're like, oh my God, that series being really good.
Especially this year, there's going to be a good wild card team probably.
Well, I don't even know. Like, so Colorado's had an unreal first half.
Yeah.
And now the injury bug has bit them. And so we'll see. Like, they're still going to be obviously good. They could coast into the playoffs at this point.
Dallas is sucking.
Dallas is really sucking right now, but they have such a lead. But they're probably going to lose home ice advantage if they keep sucking, right? Because Minnesota's playing well. But then after that, you look at the Atlantic Division, everybody's close. Everybody's close to the Metro. And then there's the Turtle Division. And be honest, right now it's the Turtle Division.
Yeah.
The Pacific Division is the Turtle Division.
Well, we're going to have a national train go across the country if the Leafs miss the playoffs this year. You know that. Like, what's happening to hockey in Canada?
Well, you look at and see, here's the thing about, like, you look at Buffalo. They won 10 in a row, and they're still not in a playoff spot. Columbus was in last place. They won 4 out of 5 in regulation, remained in last place, and actually lost ground on some teams closer to them just because there were so many teams ahead of them that, yeah, we might have, we won, but then this guy won 4 out of 5, and it's crazy. I think they gained 2 points on the second wild card team is all that happened.
It's crazy.
In that. So it's hard. Like, you get to, now you're halfway through the season, and a lot of teams look like they're in it now. But if you're Toronto and you're in second last in the East, I still think, and I know you're super close.
Yeah, 4 points. I think
you gotta win 8 or 9. Otherwise, if you go 2-1, somebody else is going 2-1 because there's so many teams battling. And like, look at the Pacific Division. Like, my God, like Seattle, who I had written their eulogy earlier this season. I still don't think they're that good, but suddenly they're 6-0-1 in their last 7 games. And because the Pacific Division is such a turtle derby that they're close, right? Like, they've tied LA. They're 2 back of Anaheim, who can't defend suddenly to save their life. And like the Pacific Division, so I looked at it. You've got the 4 worst teams in goals against average in the NHL, and Edmonton's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have 2 of the teams that are the worst scoring teams in the NHL in Seattle, LA, and Calgary. 3 of them.
Yeah.
Right? Vegas is basically middle. They're 15th in offense. They're 15th in defense. Edmonton and Anaheim can score. They can't defend.
Right.
And so there's like, are any of these teams really good? Like, Edmonton, I still think has the most skill, but Vegas desperately misses Pietrangelo and Haig, and they're really hard to find a guy like that to replace. So, like, Edmonton, the schedule says they should be able to win the Turtle Division.
Yeah.
And if they don't finish first in the division this year, that'll be an absolute. Now, it doesn't mean anything in the playoffs. You could still win.
No, but it's there
going on the road. But my goodness, it would be a massively wasted opportunity if they don't win the division.
First time since '87. What's coming up on the show?
Kevin Woodley will be by. Got a lot of goaltending. Talk about Bender will discuss all things NFL. There is some great matchups, man. Like, what about the Texans? Like, there's some teams going in pretty hot. And you mentioned the Eagles, so lots of good matchups in the NFL. We'll also talk about daughters, Chris Knobloch, some lineup changes. Expect Quinn Hudson now to go to Bakersfield. He'll join them in Abbotsford. Yep. I would think I think they'll wait till tomorrow to make the paper announcement. Yeah. And they play in Abbotsford, so he could just jet on to a play either late tonight or tomorrow, either way. But that'll probably be the move coming for the Oilers.
Beautiful. Thanks. Look forward to it.
Have a good one.
Jason Gregor Show coming up at 2:00. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimmyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
For Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. It's time for Deck the Nations at 1:45. That means I've gone late. Brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Article, podcast, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage online. It's elksnation.ca. And here to join us to talk, I'm assuming about MMA.
Yeah, I mean, no, not really. Like, I am going to, force a story, if you will.
Yes.
But I will say, like, it's a tough time. We're waiting until the next UFC event, the first one on Paramount Plus, interim, rumored, vacant lightweight title fight. But we got some time until that gets here. And quite frankly, there just isn't a lot in the news cycle, or at least not a lot that I've been keeping up with, if we're in the business of honesty. One thing I actually will say quickly, just to your and Jason's conversation last segment, Czechia has won 2 World Juniors. They won in 2000 and 2001.
Isn't that awful that I did not remember? Now, would the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia won previously?
It was, so they won as the Czech Republic. There was nothing as Czechoslovakia before. Right. Also, what I thought was interesting is, if you had to guess how many World Juniors Sweden's won, what would you guess?
Oh, 9?
Yeah, it's 2. They've won the same amount. They've been second like 8-10 times or something like that.
That's awful that I didn't know that.
But yeah, they've won the same amount as Czechia, which is kind of, and they haven't won since 2012. Again, as a throwback to your conversation. I guess the one piece of news in the MMA world I could touch on is John Jones and Daniel Cormier are going to be headlining, are going to be coaching against each other on some kind of MMA reality show. From my understanding of it, it's like a Russian version of Tough. But yeah, a Russian MMA reality show. Someone may be able to shed more light on that. And I just can't possibly see a world where this ends well. Like, it's just 2 guys who really, really hate each other. They fought twice. They have a lot of history. They fought as kind of in 2014, kind of 2 of the best pound for pound, or at UFC 2017, I should say, their second fight, as kind of 2 of the best, pound for pound fighters in the world. But it's just really 2 guys who don't like each other. One guy in John Jones who's kind of really unstable. And now you're putting them in a Russian reality show environment and just saying, yeah, go do it. Like, I don't know. I don't think this ends very well. It's funny. Like, it's tough to just kind of sit here and describe, like, anyone who knows John Jones and knows Daniel Cormier and knows the rivalry they have and the history they have, like, anyone would know this is just a absolute recipe for a disaster. Like, I often like to do NHL comparables when I talk about things of interest or of passion to me or of knowledge to me.
Oh, sure.
Like, yeah, just to kind of obviously give context for it. I guess maybe this one would be like if you put maybe if you put like Darren McCarty and Claude Lemieux in a reality show together, and said, like, just go hang out in Russia and do an Ultimate Fighter style reality show. Like, it's not going to be a good situation. I don't know. Like, I can't imagine how much they had to get paid to agree to this.
Yeah, no, to even be in the same room.
Yeah, like that's why. Like, I'm sure the money is talking, but I cannot see any way this ends well.
I thought you meant like putting things together as comparables, like that are not like related in it, like Toronto Maple Leafs bologna sandwich. Like
Oh,
that.
I see what you're doing. No, I always like to give points of reference. Like,
Okay.
if I'm describing to someone Nikola Jokic, I'll be like, hey, he's like the Connor McDavid of the NHL.
I think your way is better.
Yeah, it sheds light on situations. I am excited when MMA gets rolling here in 2026. I'm excited to see what it looks like with Paramount Plus. I'm really excited for the first card. That Justin Gaethje, Patty Pimblett, Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes card. I think it's going to be a great card. It's stacked top to bottom. A lot of great fights on that. But until then, I'm kind of just floating. I'm hovering.
Hovering?
Yeah.
That's you.
That's me. Boring times.
So this time of year, like MMA starts again, golf gets rolling, tennis will be, not that I don't think tennis ever stops. There's always a Davis Cup somewhere, but the majors aren't far away. I like this time of year for sports that are not necessarily central. Of course, we have the Olympics coming up. That'd be fun. How do we want to do the Olympic coverage?
Well.
Okay. But that involves a lot of work.
Okay, not that well then.
One thing that I think we should do though is we should, as part of the show, have an Olympic update daily.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
It'll
be worked into every update, and it should be parts of segments.
Sure. And if something happens, I know that there are all kinds of legalities about not running, actualities live. You have to wait a period of time. You have to get approval, all of that. But we can report on it, and I think that we should.
And we will.
All right. I mean, like busting in. I know you guys don't like to interrupt me. It's something that rarely happens. But if Canada wins a goal, I think that we should, acknowledge that immediately.
I was thinking about the declinations list, Josh and I, the Declan/Josh Nations list that Josh and I made on Friday. A lot of names there I just had to work in.
Yes.
And I was thinking, I obviously had on there, I want Canada to win the most gold medals. That's a wish for 26.
Yeah.
But maybe even more so, I don't even care if Canada wins gold. I just want Canada to beat the States, and I don't want the States to medal higher.
Well, okay.
You guys can't, the States can't have hockey. I'm sorry. You guys can have whatever else. You cannot have hockey.
Do you remember the year that Canada played the United States in the gold medal game, women hockey? And the referee was American, and there must have been 600 power plays for the USA, and they still couldn't win. So for me, that's the end of it. I never worry about America and hockey anymore. I worry about hotel rooms after they play, but I never worry about that. But I'm with you. I like the idea of Canada winning more medals. I'm just watching McKenna. Whoever stopped him from going, get him back on. Young man, you got to get back on the ice. That just is he's costing himself so much just in that one move. I can hardly wait for the NFL season to end so that I don't have to listen to Lowetide yammer on and on about the Eagles. I know, Bobby. It's awful. I mean, I could be a fan of the Miami Dolphins. They're interesting. Who's the least interesting NFL team? Cleveland?
No, because
the Jets?
They at least have the thing where they're bad, which is what makes it interesting.
Right. Okay.
Honestly, it's such a cop-out answer. There aren't many organizations that aren't interesting. The
Steelers.
The one that maybe comes, I even think the Steelers are kind of interesting. The one that comes to mind, and I actually don't think it's the right answer, but it's the Cardinals. Just because it's
that's a good take.
But
yes.
just because it's who cares?
No, but you're right, because whenever I think of the Cardinals, I have to remember where they play, because they were always the St. Louis Cardinals before the Rams came. I know I'm old. I get it. I understand.
In 10 years, I've never heard LT say the Eagles are going to win a game.
Listen.
I was Triple C in a truck's first good text into the show.
I will say this. You go back and look at the 70s of before Vermeil got there of the Eagles and understand that's when I became a fan of the Eagles. watching them lose was pretty much a Sunday event. So, yeah, I'm not as confident as these brazen Patriot fellows and even the Bills, but my team has won 2 Super Bowls in the last decade. Very happy about that. And they win, by the way, with me saying that they're probably not going to win. So maybe it's a reverse curse. I'm just saying. Maybe the key to the victories, well, no, that's too far.
I'm sure that was working in the 80s.
Yeah, right. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Jason Krueger on the way. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by meals.loca.ca. Every fresh, chef-crafted gourmet meal is handcrafted from scratch with fresh ingredients and arrives at your door, fully cooked, ready to heat, eat, and repeat. Meals.loca.ca. World Junior Hockey Championship action. Team Canada taking on Team Finland for the bronze medal at 2:30. Czechia meeting Sweden for the gold at 6:30. 5 games in the NHL, 2 starting off the action at 5. Utah and the New York Rangers. Anaheim and Washington at the same time. The late game will see the Minnesota Wild in LA to take on the Kings. In the NBA, action gets going at 5 with the New York Knicks and Detroit Pistons. Line for that one, New York -1.5. Toronto hosting Atlanta at 5:30. The line for that one, Toronto -2.5. Late games in the NBA, we'll see the Golden State Warriors in LA to take on the Clippers and the Utah Jazz in Portland to take on Scoot Henderson and the Blazers at 8. Other news around the sporting world as the Arizona Cardinals have fired Jonathan Gannon after going 15-36 and